It should be live. And welcome. Who's starting this week? Did you actually remind me?
Yes, I did.
Growing pains. Hello and welcome to That Beautiful Life podcast. This is my phone's. This is the least. My phone's ringing. I'm not sure who's starting. All these sort of things. Hello and welcome to That Beautiful Life, episode 148 of That Beautiful Life podcast. My name is Kadus Campbell, sitting here in the beautiful Redden United Kingdom, talking to the beautiful Roger Bergstrom, all the way in Stockholm, Sweden. Raj, I'm acting like we've never done this before.
Maybe I can help you out a bit.
Maybe you can.
I can remind you that we actually have done this quite a bit, actually. Many years, to be honest. Hi, by the way, this is Roger from Sweden. Waking up here in Stockholm, which is the capital city, or outside Stockholm, capital city of Sweden. And today is a great day, but it's expected. I saw the forecast and it was supposed to be like this. I'm hoping it's not going to rain though. Yeah, we'll see about that later.
Supposed to be like this.
Yeah, you know, when you have this, I might have said it before, I have a good app, you know, which is actually Norwegian. It's supposed to be one of the best when it comes to predicting the forecast. And it actually is very correct. I mean, even if it can differ, and that goes for everything regarding weather. If you talk about it like 3-5 days in advance, I mean, I can understand it's hard to predict that far. But if we look like the next upcoming 24-48 hours, they are usually on the spot, really correct, you know. So very reliable, I have to say. They did something good there, our dear neighbors.
Good weather. You know? Good knowing that the weather is what it's supposed to be. It's always nice.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have those sort of.
Yeah. But what about you? I mean, I remember like a week ago, since we are in the fall now, it's autumn and everything. And I can see now we have also so much more leaves lying on the ground, you know, it's falling off from the trees or stuff like that. But we had some good days of weather. But what about you over there in Reading, the UK?
To be frank, it's actually been a bit so what I'm looking for. It's been a bit of hit or miss, I guess is the best way to put it. So we've like, you know, I guess I should open with, you know, like I've been home alone for like the whole week because the whole family have been they've been off on a trip and I'm alone for the whole time.
This is the week.
This is my week.
Home alone.
So I've been home alone since Friday, and I've been trying to make the best of it, or the most of it. And when I say the most of it, I mean I've been laying around and doing lazy people shit. Like that's essentially how I've decided I'm spending my alone time. I've literally, I said to myself, I'm not going to do anything, Q. I'm not doing any chores. I'm not cleaning. I'm doing nothing. I'm just lazing around. And honestly, that's exactly what I did for the first couple of days. So the first day, the second day, so that was Friday, Saturday. I think on Sunday I did a little something. I think I maybe did some dishes or something.
Okay.
That was it. I was like, lazy man stuff.
Well, I hope you take care of the dishes at least. That's like the, you know, yeah. I don't know. Sure, you can wait a day maybe or two, but if it's something, I'm not the man that likes to or has to like put away stuff all the time. I think we talked about this before. I mean, I like it clean. Don't get me wrong, but I don't have to like do it every time it's scheduled to be done if I don't really feel like it. But yeah, the dishes is something, I kind of take care of the stuff, you know. We might have talked about that. I kind of like sometimes to, even though we have a machine, which is, by the way, partly broken, it doesn't get that really hot water to make the like plates and forks and knives like really clean. Yeah, it's a freaking mess. But even so, I can actually enjoy standing doing it by hand, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a thing I kind of enjoy. So,
it's sort of therapeutic. I think is the best way to put it.
It is exactly. That's spot on, actually. But I'm also glad to hear that you haven't been that active because I know that you get into a spin sometimes and then the chores are being done and you're cleaning the whole place from top to bottom. So
Mhm.
it's also nice to hear that you've actually relaxed and taken some Q time, just being by yourself, doing, as you said, not so much,
Yeah.
more or less
I
nothing.
have started to queue it up though with regards to
Yeah, I
like
understand that. It
so I
can't go on
started
forever.
it can't no, so like essentially what I initially intended to like not do anything and just laze around and enjoy the time I had alone and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff. And then there were things that need to be done. So like even on the first day when I said I'm not going to do anything, the next day I decided, what, I'm gonna fold up some clothes, but it was my clothes, so it was like it was fine. And then I was like, all right, that's not doing anything. Then I'll do just dishes, it's just dishes, I need to eat, and I wanted to defrost the freezer, and I called my brother. I'm like, hey man, like, can I borrow your ice box? Because he has this ice box that we used the last time we went to the beach. And it's like pretty big. So because I want to defrost the freezer. So he's like, yeah, definitely. Like, I'll pop over to because he left it over at his mother-in-law. I'll pop over to hers, get it, and you can use it. So I said, yeah, sure, let's go for it, right? And so he brought it. I went with my sister-in-law to get it yesterday, and we got it and brought it over here, and and we basically had I basically got it, and I basically had to take everything out of the freezer because now I had the icebox, I had to defrost it. So I took everything and I just sort of like opened the icebox and started taking stuff out to put into it. Now I didn't even calculate how many things I could fit in the damn thing in the first place. Yeah, but right. I figured, I should be able to fit everything. So I had like some ice cream. I put it on the bottom with some ice. So I was like, that will last, all the stuff on top of it cold would keep the ice cream cold, because it's ice cream. And then I just started piling stuff on top, if the ice cream is dead after, well, then I guess I need to buy new ice cream. But, okay. But essentially I just sort of like piled stuff inside up and on top of each other. And then, I closed the lid, I packed as much as I could. Some stuff I had to throw out. There was a whole salmon in there that I chucked out, like a whole big giant salmon that was in there for like more than a year or two, so like a year and a half. It was there for a while, like because Lexi had got it for she got
Christmas or something. No,
she got it for like for Lex and them as a present essentially.
Oh, okay.
So it was a gift, and and they never came for it. But to me, I kind of like, they were like thank you stuff, but like I kind of like, I wouldn't have come for it myself because I thought about it like it's a whole ass salmon. Like what? Like you gotta clean that. And because they like salmon, like I like salmon, but you gotta clean it. You gotta put like you gotta like take the head off and the tail and all that kind of stuff. And usually when I buy salmon, I buy it fillet because I don't want to spend all that time cleaning fish, right? And I think it's the same kind of thing with my brother. That we were like,
yeah, that could be the case.
We don't want to spend all that time cleaning fish. At least that's my assumption. So it just sort of stayed there forever, and eventually now it's been in there for so long. I don't think it's still good. At least I don't think so. It's been frozen in there for a while.
Yeah, exactly. But it's true. If it's I think you did the right thing, I guess.
So
it's quite a long time.
I bagged it up and chucked it in the bin. And I chucked out some butter we had there, or cheese or whatever, like that was there for a while as well. It was like one of those stinky cheeses, and it was like massive, like a big massive block of it. And similarly, like it couldn't fit in. Like basically, those sort of things would never fit in the icebox, essentially. The stuff that were in the icebox was stuff that we actually used and was still like within reasonable time. Like we got it within the last couple of months or so it's still like fresh enough, and they were small enough that they could fit in the icebox itself. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
things like peas and beans and frozen vegetables and frozen meats, like those sort of things like beef and stuff like that. I just chucked them into the cooler, and then I just sort of like closed it up. It wouldn't close at first, so I had to put something on top of it to like press it down, and then I guess it created its own vacuum of sorts,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and then remained closed after that. And then
Awesome.
in the end, I basically
Yeah.
got I basically started to empty the freezer, and then once I'd emptied it, it was obviously dirty inside, so I had to clean and wash out all the drawers and everything. So that is what mainly took most of the time. So like last night, I was up so late last night, just like washing all these drawers and soaping them and
Oh, shit.
drying them and with a towel. And I also had to like soak up all the water that was in the freezer and squeeze it out into a giant container and pour it into like the bathtub. So all of that I had to do as well. I had
But
towels
it
on the
takes
floor.
time. As we were talking before we hit the record button,
Yeah.
you have to let it do its thing, like melt and have the proper care to get the water down there. And then, as you say, pour it out and then start to clean the stuff. And yeah, it takes time. And as I understood you did it more or less during the night. So,
Yes, I did do it during the night, and it.
when did you get to bed, may I ask?
Man, I went to bed like 5 a.m. or something. Like
What?
yeah,
Dude,
and
come
here's the
on.
thing, right? I've slept in the office tonight. Despite the fact that all week I've been sleeping in my bed, which is so comfortable. I slept in the office tonight, and I think every night before we do a podcast, I'm sleeping in the office. Like it's a thing now, because what I realize is that it's so easy for me to wake up when I'm in the office. Like, I kid you not, Roger. If I slept in my bed, there's no way you would have woken me. Like the ringing of the phone, nothing would have woken me. Because here's the thing, right? I set an alarm for 7:30. I never heard the alarm. Like my body literally never heard the alarm. I slept through the whole alarm, but the ringing of my phone, I heard that. Like my brain is programmed to like hear my phone ringing. And I know if like everyone's here, I can't have my phone ringing like that early in the morning. It'll just wake everyone up. So having it where it's set to like my like and especially in the office, like because sleeping in the office is uncomfortable, I don't sleep so sound that I can't wake up. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's like,
I understand. It's a bit, maybe a bit lighter sleep overall. Could be.
yes, it is a lighter sleep, because when I sleep in my bed, it is so snug, and like for the whole week, you know what time I've been waking up all week, bro? Like 10, 11 a.m., all that kind of stuff. If I sleep in the office, like, and here's the weirdest thing, like I have fallen asleep in the office this week a couple of times. But what happens is I always wake in the office when I fall asleep in the office at a reasonable time, like at least like by midnight.
Okay.
I wake at least by 5 a.m. I'm awake.
Oh,
somehow my body just like switches on, and it's like okay, you're awake now. Like go use the loo or something.
There's not a sound that you have. Sometimes you can recognize that you wake up from a sound. I mean,
Nothing. I just wake at 4 a.m. The thing though is that like 4 or 5 a.m. I wake after if I fall asleep in the office. But then I get up, go use the loo, and then I go to my bed. So I've done that a few times. I'll move from the office to my bed. But I realize that if I sleep in the office, I'm good. Like I'm able to like wake pretty easy and so that. So as far as I'm concerned, off it is. Like I'll sleep in the office when it comes to like making sure I'm awake for the podcast. Like this is my new thing now.
I mean, you should be able to sleep in your bed most of the time, even so. Yeah,
most of the time, but just not on a Wednesday.
Recovery. Okay, well,
not on a Wednesday. So Tuesday nights. Office nights.
I did not know this. I mean, I know that you sometimes sleep in the office, but that can be, of course, a reason like this, definitely. But okay, interesting. I was just thinking, though, you probably said it. So Alex and the boys, they went back. Yeah, they were in New York.
They are in New York right now at the time of speaking.
Okay, cool. Have you? I mean, probably, hopefully, you've heard from them. Or
no, they've just abandoned me after leaving. So I have not.
Exactly. It was like, dude, like that. Nice knowing you.
Nah, they've,
later.
they've been so nice. Like honestly, like
Yeah, hopefully
the,
a bit excluding, no,
when we
including.
when
Sorry,
we dropped off
what am I
Ty,
saying?
so my brother took us to the airport, and when we dropped off, we dropped them off, and we got into the car and we were driving back. You know, Lex and I usually when we're in the car, we're just having a chat on the way back from the airport,
Yeah,
and we're having one of these chats where we're debating some heated topic. He's trying to convince me of something, and it's like we're going back and forth like that. And then the phone starts ringing, and it's Alex, and I'm like, why is she calling me? And so I'm like, I was like, we just dropped them off. Did they forget something?
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
pick up, hey, Ty's crying in the background, and she's like, Ty's crying. He wants his daddy. So he just keeps going. He's like, I want my daddy. I want my daddy. He's crying. So I had to like comfort him and tell him, hey, you know, like calm down. It's okay. Don't worry. You know, you're gonna see your grandmom. You know, you don't.
Exactly.
You know, I'm gonna be here and all that kind of stuff. And you know, he calmed down for a bit. He's smiling and he saw me on the phone and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, you know, he started crying again. So she called me back. And I think when they landed in when they landed in New York, he wanted me again. And then after that, he was fine. Like once they,
Okay.
you know, he was pretty much fine after
That's
that.
usually the thing with when they are in that age, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they react quite, you know, immediately more or less, but then they also forget after some time. It might come back even like, oh wait, dad's not here. Ah, I'm sad. But it's nice to hear that. Yeah, you know, when they, which kind of was expected, when they get, you know, maybe on the plane some stuff happens, they can watch or something, then it calms down, and then really getting to NY again. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's always a lot to look at, watch and look at. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the big apple. So that sounds good. But
Yeah.
that means, if I understood you right, they're coming. Are they coming back now on Friday this week, or?
So they get back on Sunday. So
Sunday. So it's
yeah,
only
so
you
I
have
literally have a whole week.
plenty
I
of
literally have a
time.
whole week. So the fridge is done, the freezer is done. So I've managed to defrost that, and it's all done and dusted, and I've cleaned it. I actually moved it as well from the side of the dining room that it was to the other side of the dining room, because I've wanted to move it for ages now. So it's moved, and it's all plugged up, and I left it on.
yeah.
I didn't move the stuff back into it because obviously it needs to get chilled. So from 5 a.m. till now, it should be chilled enough that I can put the stuff back inside there, and like they should be fine. So after we get off the podcast, I'm gonna just go down and just start putting stuff back in there,
right.
so that it can just like get cold and stay cold and la di da. So yeah, so that's basically it. But I've actually been making friends. I've been networking and stuff while they've been gone. So I can't remember if I told you about this. Did I tell you about going and meeting random strangers on an app? Did I tell you about that?
No.
Okay, so there's this app called Meetup that my brother introduced me to for us to go play football. And I joined the app, and we've been, you know, we're supposed to go and play football on it. So we went to play some football and all that kind of stuff. But then I found out you could actually meet anyone on the app. There's a bunch of people who like make different groups, and they have different meetups and stuff like that. And I found a fantasy sort of like group, you know, and they basically do anime nights and meetups and movie meetups and stuff like that. And I went to meet them. The first time I went to meet them, which was last week, Wednesday, actually last week Tuesday, sorry, I think I went to meet them. We met up at their house, at one of their houses, to watch an anime called Chainsaw Man. And I was so like not sure what was gonna happen, so I put a geotag down, and I had my own snacks just in case they try to poison me, and I had all these things worked out, like I need to survive in case they're axe murderers, and they were nice, by the way.
Be prepared.
I was so prepared, but it was so nice though. It was really, really nice meeting up with them, and they was also so welcoming. The host of the thing, like she puts out, her and her partner, they put out like all these nice snacks and drinks, and you know, I went, so far I've been at theirs twice, and the second time I was like, you know, I'd met with them already like 2 times already. So I was like, okay, I can trust these people now. So I had wine the second time when they offered, I had a glass of red wine and I had some cheese and it was nice. And we watched the anime and it was awesome. So yeah, we had a nice old time, and the people there just all chill. One of the blokes who was there, he actually said he was going to check out the website and stuff like that. So he may actually be watching this. Hello. So yeah, it was really nice. It was really, really nice. Sort of just going there and just hanging out and all that kind of stuff. But I also met up with them for what I will talk about later in the podcast, when I'm talking about like the film that I was watching.
Okay.
But which you have no idea what it is.
I have no idea. I'm in the dark.
You're definitely in the dark. I wanted to put tags in, like links to the stuff that we're talking about in the podcast. But the time I basically did all the setup and everything for the podcast literally after I cleaned the fridge. So I cleaned the freezer, then I created all the stuff for the podcast and chalked it up. And I said to myself, like, if I stay up to like make this as beautiful and perfect as I can make it, I'm not gonna get any sleep. So I did all the tags and the thumbnail and all that last night, and then chucked, put up everything as much as possible. Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not doing links because I'll have to sit here and like pull up every link for every show and every game and.
Can put it in maybe later. Or
I can do it in post. That's the thing. I can do it in post. So for those who may watch this in post, you may have links to stuff. Those you watching live, you don't have it. Granted, not a lot of people watching live right now. Because granted, this is the first time we're doing this, and it is. So I guess the idea is that it's an early morning podcast that people can listen on their way to work. People in Europe at least, because people in the Americas are going to be asleep right now. But people in Europe can listen to it.
I mean, we're recording like my time when it comes to Central European summertime, which is about to change soon. By the way, getting into wintertime, but even so, it's 9 o'clock. Well, we started a bit later than that, but still. So yeah, it's an idea or a test to see, if that could be a thing. Since I
already like it. I already like it so far. I like the fact that I know it's gonna be out there as soon as we're finished. Yeah, right. And people are gonna be able to get the episode. That is nice, especially because the fact is, well, like we're both accustomed live streaming, so it's like
true. But also remember, as we said before, there's another perk coming with this. Mm-hmm. You don't have to edit.
Oh, the beauty of it, man. The edit takes so. You guys have no idea how much time the edit takes. Like to edit the episode.
Usually don't have an idea. We're getting soon, like a bit later here in the podcast, also when it comes to gaming and stuff like that. And I made another. Well, I do videos apparently on my YouTube channel, and it was. I think both the video I did, like the last video and the video before that. I mean, we're talking 50, 60 plus clips that I am editing and putting together to make a video that is maybe 7-8 minutes. That's how it is.
That's how it
is. But it's true. I mean, I remember, back in the days when I was traveling, touring as a musician and with this shaming music group called Chromata, all these years, there was this Swedish filmmaker. I think I've told you about this. You will have to see that at some certain point. He made a documentary about Chromata. He followed our group, like I think it was over 2-3 years that I actually filmed. And he was, especially during 1 year, he was very active filming. And I have forgotten the number exactly now, but he told me how much film he had been filming, like literally using physical wise and everything. And how many hours it took, to put it down into this 1 hour-ish documentary about our doings, as traveling musicians. Because he went with us to Rome, Italy. I remember that. He was with us on another tour as well. That I have forgotten though. But even so, I mean, it just shows again that what happens behind the scene when it comes to creation stuff and especially things like this. It's really hard to grasp if you're not doing it yourself. You just see a ready product and it's just, it's supposed to flow well and not really, you shouldn't be bothered about it. You shouldn't think about it because that's the thing.
True. I mean,
It's like when you see a great football player, like, oh my God, how can he do that? Oh, look at that! Oh, whoa! And that shot, whoa! And that's the emotion and the experience of what you see. You don't think, oh, he did that because he went through 55 cones at 25 seconds.
mhm.
You don't think like that, but that's what he has been doing literally over and over again for years
It's
to
the
be able to
magic of
do.
it.
Yes, exactly. And it's the same. I mean, when I built up my percussion skills once upon a
Hmm.
time, practicing, day in, day out,
Hmm.
it all comes down to that. But
Yeah.
when you're then on stage and you're performing, I mean, you play and what you do, why you're doing that is because you want to give the audience an experience on an emotion of music,
Hmm.
or within the music. It doesn't really, it's not, but I'm just, yeah, became a bit. I went a bit further, but with this, but I think it's fascinating when you think about it. So again, as we're saying, not having to edit. But on the other hand, I just realized, wait a second, this episode's gonna also be up on
It's
the
gonna be
website.
on. It's gonna be on the website and all this the
Yeah,
the
so you
podcast
still
apps and
need
stuff that we
to.
usually it would usually be posted on and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
A
you
little
just
editing still.
I will have to edit. I will definitely have to edit. But I'm hoping that I'm also
We're
like,
not making any mistakes.
well, no. Well, even if we make mistakes, I can
Just kidding,
edit
joking.
those out in the
I
edit.
know.
So the live version, I think, is for those who like listen to it live. It's sort of like you get the raw version of the podcast. It's for those who listen on YouTube, you get the raw version of the podcast.
Exactly.
After it goes up on the podcast app, that's when I'll beautify it. I'll add, like, for example, like we add filters to our voice at the end of the podcast, like, to boost the audio, like, for example, like condensation
Yeah.
and treble and bass and that kind of stuff. So those sort of things will still happen for the edit, because I like when I add treble and bass, because like when you're listening on a podcast app, it just sounds so rich and nice. But for listening on YouTube, it's fine. Like, anybody on YouTube
Yes.
using like the best like heads, like most people don't listen to YouTube, at least as far as I'm aware, and walk around with their headphones in,
No.
unless of course they have YouTube Premium. And yeah, I still don't know a lot of people who do it. So I would think most people who listen to podcasts in
Usually
the pure
sit down,
audio
I
sense,
guess.
they usually have in the pure audio sense, you usually have a podcast app, and for that we'll make it beautiful. For the rest of it, you can just sit at your desk and just listen to your speakers, and it'll be fine. So
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
yeah.
Other than that, Q, is there anything else you want to add to your week?
Nah, it's generally been like that. Like, as I said, I'll get into more stuff when we start talking about film. Honestly, I've just been lazing around, man. Like, it's been good. It's been good
but
to
it
just
sounds
not have
good.
any like I guess any kind of like plan. It's just sort of like, we'll see how it goes today.
Exactly. That's a wonderful feeling, and it's important to take, how should we say, take care of those moments, because they're
Yeah.
quite rare,
Mhm.
especially when you usually live a family life and everything that comes with it. So, yeah, man. Yeah, I've been talking about that with my sons as well, also, especially my my oldest son.
Mhm.
That is very busy now, being a game developer and working a lot. So I
Mhm.
reminded him, man, you got to be careful. Dad's
Mhm.
telling you this now, and I've told you before. Because I mean, if I'm gonna be serious for a second, I've had my experiences of going too far. Also, pushing
Yes,
myself really hard and
same.
becoming ill.
Mhm.
For me, it was with me actually almost 2 years,
For me, it
and I
was the
don't.
nerve damage,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is still
exactly.
which I live with today. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know the
Look at that
feeling.
now. It's gonna
Hmm.
be, yeah. And I mean, I have some problems with me itself that comes from that period of time. Now this is so long time ago. It's around the year 2000, but still.
Hmm.
So I'm just saying to you guys out there also, take care of yourself, and
Hmm.
definitely also, because I think we're usually quite bad at schedule these kind of things,
Hmm.
to give us that kind of treat. And For example, I told my oldest son, Adam, make sure that you get some time off from work. I know he's been thinking about that as well. Just
Hmm.
to because then it's also easier to find that motivation and drive again when you get back to it.
Yeah, it
So
is.
I mean, I know how I feel about it as well, and it's usually what happens if you fall back a bit, it's easier to take a deep breath and get into it again. So,
Hmm.
uh, but even so, I can get into talking about what I've been doing. It's been a bit of a strange week in some ways. Um, well, first off, I think I mentioned last episode that talking about Adam. Then he's his old Pontiac Firebird from '95. Didn't want to start when it was at this parking lot, and we called for a what is it called, tow truck, or a truck that can take it to a
Yeah,
workshop.
that's a tow truck. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But he actually, yeah, he had a jump start with him, so we managed to get it to work, so to speak. Meaning that we started to believe, even though we hesitated, that it might just be the battery being emptied, because we haven't been driving with the car so much recently. It is a season car, so we will soon also put it away for winter storage. But
Hmm.
even so, days passed, and I had in the back of my head, like, oh, I should probably go out to the garage, just start it up and take a ride, like drive maybe 15 minutes, so you get recharge or charge the battery a bit more.
Yeah.
But things came across, and I didn't. And then so from Wednesday to Sunday last week, it was there in the garage. And
Hmm.
then we had this kind of community thing here in the area, which is happening. It happens like every fall and every
Hmm.
spring, when everyone gets out of their houses more or left, and helps to clean up the area, take away some leaves there, and trim some bushes, and brush out the dust and stuff from the garages, and things like that.
Hmm.
And Adam's car didn't want to start.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, oh, mistake. So we invested, it's good to have anyway, in one of those really good jump starters. And
Right.
we connected it, and we got, like, yeah, the electricity in the car went on,
Hmm.
but it didn't want to start even so. And then we were like, what? So we checked the battery. We should have done that before, but we checked the battery with a voltage meter.
Hmm.
And it was actually around 12 volts of battery at that point in time. So it was like, okay. So we started to think that it might be actually something else in addition to an empty battery, which is a bit unfortunate. So long story short, yesterday we called for another tow car. so so he came, we pushed out the car, and I have to say I'm impressed. I mean, we have been using, I think that was actually when we took out the car from the winter storage, when springtime was around. I told you about this.
Hmm.
When we were so unlucky on that particular day, there was a freaking snowstorm. We're talking late April or beginning of May.
Hmm.
And we got stuck with the car, having summer tires and everything, like not being able to drive anywhere. And then we knew to use the tow car, but that was the big one that just pulls the car up on the top of the car, so to
Hmm.
speak. This was a smaller one that just has this arm. I have to say, this guy, he went out, he had a remote control,
Hmm.
and the arm came down like to the ground, and then extended like a freaking snake, like on the ground, back onto the back tires of Adam's car. And another small thing that went like to connect on the other side of the tires, so to speak. And he was so good at that. And then, because we're talking 90 degrees, like
Hmm.
between the back of the tow car and
Hmm.
and the back of Adam's car,
Hmm.
because I was like, should we not turn it around? No, it's fine. So he did that. He took it up a bit, like meaning tilting the car, so the back wheels were up in the air, right? So it was
Hmm.
only Adam's car's front wheels were on the ground, and then he just started to drive a bit like that, and got it in the right direction, meaning it's in the same position as him, pointing forward, but being back on the truck, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
It was so slick. I was like, wow, I was so impressed. And then apparently we followed behind him with our car, me and Anna's car. So it's there now by the,
Hmm.
the workshop that we have been using also during this summer when we had problems with our Mazda, our
Hmm.
our, our car. So we'll see. Hopefully, in a day or two, they'll come back and because I mean, time flies now, and we don't want to get caught in the first snows coming or something because we
Mm-hmm.
have to drive with this car, the Pontiac Firebird, through the city to the
Mm-hmm.
other side of the city, or actually suburb to the city,
Mm-hmm.
to get to the garage where it's most likely going to be for winter this time around as well.
Mm.
So that's I think that's the main. I'm not saying the highlight of this week because I'm not sure if it is, because Adam, yeah, it costs money too. He has to pay it. I mean, it doesn't affect the poor guy in a way, but still,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
It
So
does. It
yeah, yeah,
is. But I think
but
that's
it's
something that you kind of expect with vintage vehicles as well as
yeah,
that.
of course, of
They
course.
are a sort of a luxury to a certain extent, and with
Sure. I mean,
luxury
it's
does sometimes come expense.
yes, it
So
is what it, and we haven't had any severe problems. I hope it's not going to be that either this time around
mm,
as well. We've
I
done some
think
small fixes, so yeah, yeah.
I,
Fingers
I think the
crossed.
other things too as well about like older vehicles as well is that they're usually much more simple and less expensive than newer stuff.
Exactly.
You know, at least
Yeah.
with newer stuff, it's like they've got to program this and there's a computer here. And when it's a classic kind of vehicle that's not too modern, essentially, that it's vintage in that sense, you usually have it's a mechanical thing. Like they go in there and like,
True.
okay, cool, yeah, it's the battery, yeah, let's just take out the battery, put a new one in, it's perfect. Oh, it's missing a bolt here, yeah, I'll just put a new bolt in, it works.
Exactly.
That's usually
And they do sound
this.
like that as well. They do. I know. I've heard them in the workshop in there. They talk like that. It's amazing. It's
How would you
but
do
it's
that voice in Swedish? If you had to do it like that in Swedish, how would you do it?
ja, det ska vi se grabbar. Jag tror att det kan vara en sån där säkring här borta på kabeln liksom. Vi får ta och byta ut den. Beställa en ny helt enkelt. Okej, det är lugnt. Det är General Motors. Det löser sig. Där har du den.
That's
That's
brilliant.
it. That's the one.
Oh,
It's super cool, but it's yeah, but I totally agree with you. I mean, just think about the problems we had with our Mazda, and it was this. It took weeks or two workshops. I don't blame that. I understand it can be really diffuse or hard to find, but they have to search within these error codes. We're talking computers now,
yeah.
and before they eventually found out that it was the security or the safe box safety fuse box fuse box that had problems, and it actually needed to change the whole fuse box at the end. But even so, it took time, and they also explained, it's within the industry now also, so it means that there is a thing that the car developers, that they have their brand right, and they also have their own mechanics that are educated in that particular brand and models and cars. So it becomes hard also if you go in between, like don't go to a like brand workshop. I mean, it's a good thing not to, because you save money, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's also why we didn't do that. But then they explained at this place that, well, what we do now is that we educate, we send some of the guys to certain education so they can actually learn this. Because otherwise it's like a kept secret, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They can find a few, it's like layers. They can find a few of these error codes, but they can't go all the way down to actually follow the whole sequence. So, but if they learn this apparently and have the right software, they can. So we also had the problem that one of the guy, and I mean the guy that knew this, he almost became ill. So it took also like almost an additional week before he came back, because he had the power, he had the knowledge to actually do exactly what I described. I think this is kind of interesting. So that means exactly what you said. If you have an older car, mechanical car, if we call it like that, I mean, I can still open the hood
and probably figure it out.
Yeah, or if I don't figure it out, I at least know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
If I open the Mazda, even though it's like a 2012 car or something, it looks like a piece of what?
You're like, it's a spaceship!
A plastic, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Is this a propulsion drive for UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, as they call it now.
You just have to just be like, look, this is the warp drive here. This has to be that, right?
Exactly.
I
better call Scott. Beam me up and help me now.
Essentially, beam me up, Scotty. Let's go. To be honest, I've never really worked on a car before. No. So I don't even know what's under.
Just small things, bro. I'm not good at it. We changed the battery this summer. So the battery is new, by the way, in the Pontiac Firebird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've done that also on other cars. It's usually the kind of the easiest things you can.
When you're changing it, how manly do you feel? Like on a scale of on a scale of 1 to manly, like
it hits the manly bell like bang.
You're just there, greasing your hands. You're just like, yes, this feels right. Yes.
And it's like, Rodney, we should drink some coffee now and have a bun. Sure, honey, but I have to take off all this grease on my hands doing manly stuff.
So
I can't hold that cinnamon bun with these hands, honey.
These are manly hands. Yeah.
So you eat that cinnamon bun with the taste of grease. It can't be more manly than this.
It can't be. No, not at all.
Than that. Yeah, exactly.
Not at all. But manliness comes in all its shades, though. But genuinely, that is the peak of manliness. Indeed, it is so peak.
At least one part of it, I would say. Mm-hmm. But even so, fingers crossed again. It's gonna work fine. It will. I'm
sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. And so I mean, of course, I've been doing this has just taken time. It's been like, and it's kind of how should I put it? Also put a bit of disturbance in the force when it comes to doing other things. Mm-hmm. But I am busy now. I mean, I'm doing my usual stuff. I am also preparing, and you will get to know that more about that later as well. I've told you, since I'm gonna start to release the music I am doing more in a public room, meaning like on the Spotify platforms or that kind of stuff, and also actually on YouTube. So I have been going through. I would say legal stuff, meaning what I need to know and certain organizations I need to join in order to talking about copyright and stuff, protecting my music. That's basically it. Because nowadays we talked about cars, we talked about old cars, we talked about new cars. It's like the same thing partly in the music industry if you're releasing music.
Yeah.
Before there were people doing that. They knew everything. You just you were a musician, you did your stuff and boom, it was out there. Now you have many hats. You're the creator of the music, you're the producer, you're the engineer, the mechanic dude,
Yeah,
and
everything.
you have to get it all right. You need to have everything under your hood, meaning into your brain. And because if you open that hood, you can't really see you don't really understand what you're looking at. So there we have the same kind of thing or comparison. So you just have to spend time getting the knowledge and there are certain services nowadays that organizations that helps you out with this. Usually they take a small percentage, of course,
obviously.
Some of them, but it's but it's still worth it actually. So I have been trying to settle those things down in a proper way. So hopefully in a week or two, I will actually be doing what I was planning to do.
What you set out to do,
Yeah, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I think the week overall has been good, and we should probably talk a bit about the beautiful stuff also in That Beautiful Life podcast, which is of course a bit of a core thing for us. And that is, of course, stuff that we have been watching and playing as gamers.
Let's talk about them video games.
Them
video games.
Video games.
I actually haven't been playing anything this week, to be honest. Anything that I would talk...
You've been chilling.
I've been chilling, and I would say with the time that I've had to chill, I'm a bit inaccurate in that statement because I have been playing eFootball. Like I play a bit of PES, like.
Oh, you did that? Okay.
Yeah. I did play some PES.
I thought so, but I wanted to hear it from you.
Over the weekend, but granted, most of the weekend I was like watching football and stuff and lazing around in bed. I was like, manliness, I don't have to do nothing, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, in between, like I put on the the Xbox or the PlayStation. I played some eFootball, and I was like, yeah, this is great. Yes. Score
Nice.
goals and stuff. Win against people. Yay. Hercules.
You haven't been watching any football. Sorry, getting a bit.
I did watch. This weekend I did watch some matches. I did watch a couple matches over the weekend, and man, like Real Madrid this weekend, brilliant. They lost this week. They lost yesterday against RB Leipzig in the Champions League, but they've already qualified head of their table, so they don't actually really need to win. It was a 2-3 loss, which was a loss, but the way they lost, they came back and they fought for the win to try to get the win was good. And I like the fact that RB Leipzig won to a certain extent because, Christopher Nkunku scored and Timo Werner scored, and I was like, I like those guys, so it was nice to see them actually like perform and all that. But yeah, it was generally
Cool.
it was
Nice.
good. So generally speaking, like I've got no games I've been playing seriously that I really want to mention. So what I want to mention is basically games that I think people should get, and I think this is something that we mentioned quite a few times in the podcast, and I just want to reiterate it, is that if you happen to play games on PC, there are a lot of different avenues for you to get like free games, especially some of them you may have to like be a part of a subscription service. So for example, Game Pass is one that we usually recommend, as well as Amazon Prime Gaming, which was one you didn't know about that existed, but Prime if you have Prime, you end up getting Prime Gaming for free, and it includes, you get free games and free stuff, additions to your games and stuff in there. But I think the most free option you can get, where you just literally just get free games, is Epic Games Store. And I think if you're a PC gamer, especially if you're a new PC gamer as well, the Epic Games Store is probably your best place to go.
Yeah.
And right now, until tomorrow, actually, you have up until tomorrow to grab these two games, which we mentioned last week, which was Evoland and Fallout 3. You have until tomorrow to get them. Please go get these games. They're both amazing. They're free on the Epic Games Store. And they have some new games that will be on there from the 27th till November the 3rd, starting tomorrow, which those games are Saturnura. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's Saturn. Is that I think that's an L. Saturnalia. I think that's it. Saturnalia. So that looks like an L and an I. It's written in the sort of stylized way. I think it looks like a horror game. And then there's Warhammer Mechanus, which is very easy to read. So Warhammer Mechanus and this Saturnalia. Those two games are going to be on Game Pass, and not a Game Pass, sorry, on the Epic Store, and you can pick them up for free. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to make an account on the Epic Store, and you can claim these games, and that's it.
Cool.
So
That's good news.
the Epic Store have given away so many great games over the years, and my library in there it's nowhere as big as my Steam library, because I've got hundreds of games on Steam, but it's ridiculous the amount of games I own on the Epic Store, despite the fact that I've barely spent a dime on it. Not that I haven't. I have actually purchased stuff on here. But most of it is free.
That's so cool.
That is so
really
cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I don't have to add anything, because I think you described it so well, both with these kind of opportunities as a gamer, special PC gamer. I wanted to just remind people about one thing. If you do check out Xbox Game Pass, remember or be aware that you can, if you want to, you can just check what's happening during a certain month and take that subscription for a month, and you only pay like £1, meaning like €1 or $1
to get started for that first month.
A lot of new games that are there, so that can be worth it. For example, my youngest son Isaac, he did that because he wanted to play Scorn, talking about a horror game or adventure horror game. So he did that for a month just to be able to play the game. Yeah, and now it's done, and then he will cancel the subscription and maybe wait and see what happens in a month. Maybe before Christmas there's something again. Oh, I want to play that, and boom, onto the subscription, and you can do that. You can definitely do that.
Also, like, and we did speak about this last week, which was essentially that Xbox are planning to release a family plan option as well. So that's also going to be great. I can't wait for that to come out, because
Sure.
Like I know it's gonna come in so handy for us.
Yep.
And I'm just literally gonna like have get my siblings involved and all that kind of stuff, and we'll just probably split the bill. We'll be like, okay, you get this, I get this, la di da,
That's great.
And then
That's great.
everyone just has an account on it, and you have full access to all the Xbox games, and we can play together and all that kind of stuff, and it's fine. So yeah, Game Pass, top tier. That's basically what I wanted to just mention, which was you can get some free games on your PC if you have a PC. Raj, you on the other hand have actually been playing a game. You've been playing a game that I didn't even know. To a certain extent, I knew, but I didn't know because I didn't understand the full details of it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of been re-released to a certain extent, is it? Explain this to me.
No. It's just Activision Blizzard doing a bit of a weird thing when it comes to titling this upcoming year's, meaning only a week from now. This week? No, what am I talking about? This weekend, Modern Warfare 2 2022 will be released.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you want to, what am I saying? If you're not like that, don't know so much about Call of Duty and the franchise. Well, in 2009, Modern Warfare 2 was released.
The original, the real thing.
The original, the good stuff that you open the hood and you recognize what you saw kind of game. But even so, I talked about a few episodes back that I was able to play the beta when it comes to the multiplayer of this upcoming Modern Warfare 2 game. It's Infinity Ward that are behind this game now. They have a lot of people and studios involved in this year's Call of Duty. It's going to expand and not only include like the normal just of the multiplayer and of course Warzone that nowadays comes with it, although that's going to be released later within season 1 coming later. But there are some other new game modes and stuff, and I think I said in the podcast also that I had a good time playing the beta, meaning the multiplayer. It felt promising. I liked what Infinity did in 2019 when it comes to Modern Warfare, simply Modern Warfare, with a new graphics engine and improved audio. They have taken that a step further now. Also improved it even more when it comes to these like technical aspects of the game. Also the AI, which I now encountered for the first time, and I'm getting to that, it's much better. So now when I got a code for early access when it comes to the campaign of the game 1 week before release, and from Activision Blizzard. So I want to say thank you to them as well. So I've been playing the campaign. I did a video on my channel if you're interested to watch it, which is basically a review of the single player, meaning the campaign.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It's exactly what I like with the Call of Duty campaigns. You are traveling across the world and getting into situations that includes diving under the water, getting up just to take out a guy that is standing on the shore, hanging upside down from a helicopter, shooting at the same time, jumping between vehicles in a desert somewhere. Well, the list goes on. I think you recognize that. I also had a good old Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare feeling when I got into this sniper mission in a gill suit crawling in the grass. So it's I would say I almost want to say Call of Duty is back.
Yeah.
Because I have not been, I played like all the Call of Duty games more or less. And I don't know, like the last year, Call of Duty Vanguard, it didn't do it for me. I think it's one of those titles I played so few hours, like compared to some other games in the series. And it feels good, and it's a lot of fun. So just from the standpoint of view, when it comes to the campaign in this year's upcoming Call of Duty, I would say it's definitely a lot of fun. Then we can also. It depends on what you like to play. I like the whole package. I play both the campaign and I play, of course, if the game is good, quite some when it comes to multiplayer. So yeah, it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
That's brilliant.
Good. I would give it, if we're gonna I can put a score. I would put like 8.5 out of 10 or something.
Wow, it's pretty good. That's pretty
Yes.
good.
I know
Definitely.
that I've been watching some other reviews afterwards. I
Hmm.
finished or I've been playing the game, and I saw. I think IGN but IGN is IGN. I don't know what to say. They, I think it was 6.5 or something like that, which I think is too low. That is too low.
I think the thing with IGN is that I found this. I've actually had this discussion with the new mates I've made from this meetup app. It's that I found IGN to be not just IGN, but a lot of critics and stuff like that. They just don't usually match the people, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like regular people, when they review something, what they think about it, and then you check what critics say, and usually the critics are just completely diametrically opposed to what like regular people say.
It's very often. It's kind of
So
interesting, isn't it?
it's like, are these people real people? Like, are they like, do they? Because I know there's essentially like, biases in the industry. Maybe they've got a friend who's a publisher or whatever have you and so forth. But essentially, yeah, you always find it usually seems the critics love something when it's good, when it's something that the regular people don't like, or they hate something when the regular people like the thing. And yeah, actually, leading into that, the film that I watched this week is one of those that it seems the critics and the regular people don't agree with, and sadly enough, I seem to agree with the critics.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I am a critic, so yeah, the film I watched,
Interesting. Yeah.
the film I watched this week was Black Adam, which
Okay.
so
Yeah, like The Rock.
The Rock, Black Adam. I met up with
Dwayne Johnson.
with the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Do you smell? It was like, honestly, the film had its moments. So I met up with the same people from the meetup app, and they were going to see the movie, and we met up, and it was nice, and we went in to go see the movie together.
Ooh.
The problem was like, The Rock was great. Dwayne Johnson is great in the film. Like, he's a good actor and all that kind of stuff, and he knows how to do stuff. So he's easily the best part of the film, and so is Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan is there.
He's there. He plays Dr. Fate in the film, so he's also pretty great in the film as well. I would say, like, the rest of the film is sort of like, what's the way to put this? Some of the stuff in the film don't make sense in the way in which they do some stuff in the film. Some of it does. Like, some of it, like, it takes a while before it, like, at the end of the film, you look back at it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see why that makes sense. But there's stuff in it that don't make sense. Film-wise. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, this makes no sense. And then other than that too, it's like the character of Black Adam, the character of Dr. Fate, all these characters have been nerfed for this movie to like work, because like Black Adam is so powerful, and so is Dr. Fate. I felt like Dr. Fate should not have been in this movie, because he's way too powerful to be in a film like this.
Yeah.
And the way in which they play his character in this, I felt it was like, he's not like that. Like, his powers were basically, I can see the future, and I can like multiply myself. Like, that was basically his power for the whole film. And it's like, but Dr. Fate is like much more powerful than that, isn't he? Like, he could do a whole lot more,
Something missing here.
So that was kind of lame, seeing Dr. Fate not be able to do anything, and sort of like, yeah, just average. And then there were aspects of the film whereby certain scenes just didn't match up. Certain things that was supposed to, that you would see happen in between characters, like, different interactions and stuff like that. Like, at one point in time, Black Adam just sort of like turns himself over to the other, to these sort of guys and who came to like stop him. Okay. That's just not what his character would do, at least from the comics. I mean, his character in the film actually has a slightly different story from the comic version. So yeah, it's kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I get it, but it's like, every other aspect of his character matches the comic version of the character.
Oh,
like he's
okay,
ruthless. He doesn't care. And all this sort of, and he's he's powerful. He's strong. He's cool, you know. And The Rock he does a good job of playing him. Like he's so good. He looks just like the characters, or like he just looks just like the character from the comics. But yeah, the rest of it, the other characters that were there, I don't know, man. There's a little boy in there who's like, he's like one of the main characters. His whole arc in the storyline, like there's one scene, and this is one of the scenes that like I was I was in the theater sitting next to this older gentleman, and I was like, why didn't you just shoot him? Like that's literally what I said. I was like, cause like there's these just like that. Basically, their country, right? The country that this boy is from, has been taken over by this international crime syndicate. Like it's been taken over for a while and all that kind of stuff. For years, they've been taken over by this crime syndicate, and the Justice League and Justice Society and all those people never came to help these people. As soon as Black Adam wakes up, they turn up because they're like, oh, Black Adam is dangerous. We need to stop him. He's going to take lives and stuff like that. And we're like, huh? Like, all this time, these criminals were killing these people, and oh no, it's just fine. Like let's leave these criminals to the criminal stuff, but and steal the resources of these people's country. But as soon as Black Adam turns up, it's like, oh no, he's gonna take lives. Like we can't have that. You know, we care about people. And I'm like, okay, this is some bullshit. Like what the frack is going on here? Yeah. This is a huge BS. So like I was basically like at one point the criminals are chasing the boy because he has something that they want, and they're chasing this boy. But keep in mind, these are criminal peoples. Like they're shooting other characters and killing them off easy. Why didn't you just shoot the boy? Like in my brain, it's just like, well, if they were criminals and they're chasing this, why are they all trying to hold him? Like, you know, like. They could just shoot his leg or something, or just shoot at him, and eventually he'd fall down, and then they just get the thing that they want from him. So to me, it's sort of like that sort of thing made no sense. Why they would just not kill this boy, because they didn't show any remorse for anyone else that they killed throughout the series. So it was sort of like, what was the reason for them keeping this boy alive in the first place?
All of a sudden being very about morale and okay.
It was exactly. It was just so strange, and it was just so like, again, like a MacGuffin. It was just not very logical the way in which they played it off and all that kind of stuff. And to a certain extent as well, it's sort of like there are other scenes that are like that in the film. And you just sort of think like this scene only exists to sort of like make this film work. Without this, you know, and especially as someone, if you're a fan of the comics and you go into it, there's a lot of things where you think to yourself like, wow, this character should be able to like do better than this, or, you know, that kind of stuff. Like you get that feeling, you know, with certain aspects of the storyline. And especially it has a lot to do, especially with Nabu or Dr. Fate and Black Adam. Like those two characters, there's some stuff in there. It's just like, but Black Adam would be able to do this, or you know, Dr. Fate would be able to do that, and they don't do it, and it's just sort of like, okay, you know. I think of the two, the closest they got to their powers is Black Adam. Like Black Adam is pretty overpowered. He's really powerful in this, which is what he's supposed to be like. But yeah, it's the strangest thing. The end credits is also really strange. I don't really like. I saw the end credits and I'm like, okay then. So what I can say, this movie is currently ranked as number 1 for popularity in the world right now. It's a 7.1 on IMDb. I give it a 6. So I didn't hate the movie. Let's put it that way.
No. I understand.
The movie was enjoyable for certain segments of it, and as I say, you know, The Rock was doing The Rock Johnson was great, and Pierce Brosnan was also great. Like their acting chops, brilliant. I think my least favorite character was the mom and the kid. Like I don't like them. I think they're sort of like they're so imposing in the way in which they're portrayed, and they're also sort of selfish. Like there's even a scene where the mom sort of like tells the all the super powered people like, oh, you guys have to work together, and because she's got this item that they all want. Essentially, you guys have to work. And in my mind, I'm like, but they could just take it from her. Like, she's got no powers. Like what is she gonna do? They could literally just take it from her. Yeah.
I only saw like one review. It was actually during this weekend since I said before, we have the paper, the newspaper holding a paper. So that was only one voice. But it was actually, I saw, okay, look at that, a review of Black Adam. So I read it. I was expecting, it to be like very negative, but actually it was quite, they kind of liked the movie. It was a mid kind of review, meaning I would say maybe 3 out of 5 or something like that. That's the only Swedish like review I've seen from here.
3 out of 5 seems about fair. It's definitely not like because I'm seeing with the audience reviews like a 90%, but with the audience reviews 90%, this is something I noticed about it with some of the people I went with. Most of the people I was with had never read the Black Adam comics and know nothing about the character. No. So they had no idea who Dr. Fate was. They didn't know any of the other characters, and so it was, to them it was like, oh, it's a great superhero movie. Like it's cool and all this sort of stuff. No, but for someone who actually knows these characters, it's sort of like you're going in with certain expectations and all that kind of stuff. And when those expectations aren't met, then you're disappointed. And also when you see some scenes that don't make logical sense as to why someone would do this or why a character would act like that in that sense, it's sort of like okay. But the film does play well on the comedy. It's got a good comedy element to it and all that kind of stuff. Rotten Tomatoes has that at 90% for the audience score, but the tomato meter has that 39, which is the critics. So yeah, I strangely enough agree. I guess you could say I'm in the middle because I'm not like as low as the critics. Like it's not a 3.9 or underneath. It's not like underneath 5 because the film is good. So I would say it's about a 6. If not between 5 and 6, I would say. And 6 is me highballing it. Like if on the low end, it's at least a 5. Yeah. Like that's where I sit this film in. It's not something that I would say go see in the theaters. It's one of those I would say wait. Like don't waste your money.
Do that. I will watch it, but I will watch it later. That's
same. That's exactly what I would say. So that's what I would say. Don't waste any money. I was gonna take Xavi to see it, and I said nah. I'm not like. I'll see something else when he gets back. Like, because for me, it's like, it's just not worth it. It's like, it's not worth the 7 quid to go to the theaters, each ticket. So that's 14 quid. And then the 6 quid they're gonna charge us for a container of popcorn. Yeah, I'm good. Which, by the way, movie theaters I've just realized just how expensive movie theaters are. With regards to like. Because usually when I go, I'm usually not like checking how much I'm spending. This weekend I was like really like, because usually I'm with like Xavier or something. So I'm like, okay, get what you want. Okay, cool. And then I like order a couple of things and I just pay. So I don't really think about it because I'm like, I've ordered a few things. Fine. Yeah. But this time it was just me and I was just like, you know what? I just want a bag of popcorn. Because usually I get like the popcorn, maybe something to drink, maybe a hot dog, that kind of stuff. This time I'll just get a single bag of popcorn. And the girl looks at me and she's like, okay, that'll be 6 quid. I was like, 6 quid, really? 6 quid 50 to be precise. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pass on that. Because a bag of popcorn, if I just go to a shop and just buy a bag of popcorn, it's like £1 for the bag. Yeah. So it's like, that's way too expensive. Yeah.
Bro, if we meet again, I'll make you some really good popcorn. We have a popcorn machine and we found a really good combo with both oil and butter that makes the popcorn so freaking damn good. I don't ever buy popcorn again. I found the true balance, and popcorn goddess just smiled to me. So I assure you, we'll do that.
I'm looking forward to the next time.
But I know what you mean, bro. I just have to fill in. It is the same here. It's the same here. It has become really expensive, and for your knowledge, there's been a debate here. Yeah. Also on social media when it comes to people bringing their own candy into the movie
I bring my own shit, man. I bring my own stuff. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
They're not allowed to do that here.
I sneak it in. I have a backpack.
I mean, people start to do that because, I'm just saying, it's been a debate. I've seen it. It's calmed down now, but it was a few months ago, actually. Especially when after after COVID, partly, when it started to actually open up again and people were able to go, and then they realized, well, this is expensive. So here we are. But bro, I think we also need to time flies as always when we're having this beautiful talk. And I just want to add to the movie part, not a movie, but a TV mini series. It's something quite new. This is the reason why I got interested and wanted to watch it is because it's made by David Lynch's daughter. I know and knew that she was doing stuff also when it comes to movies and series and stuff. This is a series called The Watcher, and you can find it on Netflix. It has a 6.6 on IMDb. I would absolutely easy peasy give it a 7. And there are several reasons for that. First off, it's nice to see that she has also good taste of when it comes to actors and actually also casting overall. I think she put together a good combo of actors that works really well in the series. One of them is also being used by her father, David Lynch, in the recent Twin Peaks, series that was made a few years ago, and that is also one of my favorites. Naomi Watts. I think she's absolutely brilliant. She was amazing in the Twin Peaks series, like the newest one, and also here she's. I don't know. She's just brilliant. Whatever she does, she's great. She's married in the movie apparently with Bobby Cannavale. I think most of you guys have seen him. Also, it's a name that maybe not ring a bell, but if you see him, you
if you recognize his face, he's got a recognizable face.
Yeah, he has a very recognizable face, I would say.
He's been in Ant-Man and
true.
And I think a couple others. Ant-Man is probably the easiest one that most people would probably recognize because it's
and
more
also
popular.
An old star, Mia Farrow, that has been starring in movies by Woody Allen at that time and things like that. She's really good. Has a very quirky role. But what is it about then? Well, The Watcher, it's about a married couple, meaning the two main characters I just talked about, Naomi Watts and her husband, moving into their dream home. And they are threatened by terrifying letters from a stalker signed The Watcher. And the cool thing is that this is outside of New York, by the way. This is based on a true story. And that makes it even more remarkable as the series progresses. This is weird. This is it's kind of eerie. It says drama, horror, mystery, and I guess that's basically what it is. I like the series. It is definitely worth watching. It's a good watch together with someone you like or love, and I think you should definitely check it out. Good series.
I'm sitting this one out. I'm sitting this one out. This is a horror movie. I'm gonna get scared. I'm sitting this one out. I recommend it for those of you who like horror movies, though.
No. It's not really. And this comes from someone that has been watching a lot of horror movies. It's not really horror in that sense. Definitely not.
Are you thinking more like thriller, like a thriller movie?
I would go more about the mystery part, to be honest. There are a few horror-ish moments, but not per definition as you expect in horror movies with like the jump scares and people dying in horrifying ways. That's not the case. I mean, I don't want to spoil, but it's not really about dying in this movie or movie series. So, but it's a good one. I really wanted to share it here with you guys because I think it's definitely a good one. Sitting there also Netflix. I think it's doing pretty well right now. Actually, I think it's on the list at least here from what I can see on the Netflix.
It's actually number 2 most popular on according to IMDb right now. It's a 6.6 out of 10. So it is the second most popular thing right now. So this is we've literally just recommended the most popular, which was Black Adam, and second most popular, which is The Watcher.
Cool.
in our recommendation this week, which tells you enough to know that we are great at recommending stuff, and you should check it out.
Oh, we are. We just stick the finger in the water and we can tell what temperature it is. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, seems like 100 degrees. Yeah, definitely burning. Yep, flesh melting, perfect. Yeah, You can admit.
Gotta go back until next week. Flesh. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, well, since you say it's not as horrifying as like it's more of the mystery part of it, and I guess I could watch this with I could sit down and watch this with someone. So I will add it to the watch list, and we shall see.
Can do that
in due time. You know what? Speaking of like horror stuff, like being in the house all by myself does give me a horror vibe at night, though.
Yeah,
like,
I was just thinking about that for a second.
I think to myself like sleeping and also one of the reasons why sleeping in the office is probably like the most comfortable for me when I'm home alone here, because the office is the smallest room in the house. It's got one entry point essentially.
Yeah.
So I can like guard that entry point with my guardiness, and also the office it's just sort of like it's sort of tucked away. Like with the rest of the house, it's sort of like the bigger rooms. There's more stuff in there. The office, it's a closed off space. It's just small, and I guess that smallness makes it a bit more cozy in that sort of less terrifying way. So yeah. But then I'm a man, so I'm not afraid of stuff, you know. Not really.
Good. Good for you.
I say that to make myself feel.
It's a boost shot. That's
yes,
what it is.
Exactly. But yeah, you should see my dining room. By the way, it's a mess, bro. It's just stuff all over the place. I've been moving stuff around. So, but it's a horror. That's a real horror. That being said, generally I guess that's it for us this week. I do want to just mention one thing. I think you guys could genuinely check out Roger's YouTube channel, as we mentioned before, to get the Call of Duty gameplay and sort of like review of it. That will be, I will try to link it in after the podcast has gone. After we're finished with the live and everything like that. So I'll grab the link and chuck it in there. Also try to check out Simply Tech and follow it on YouTube, because I've actually got a new video coming on there as well. So feel free to check out there. I actually picked up something really, really cool, and I want to review it. So go on over there and check it out. It is awesome. Let's put it that way. So I've already recorded the footage for it, essentially. I just have to do that horrible part of the thing that we don't like doing, which is the clipping it, all these clips together and making it work. So essentially that's going to happen. So Raj, how about we get out of here?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. There's a thing we usually do right about now, isn't it?
Shout out for your channel.
Shout out for your channel. Well, technically, I just shouted out a channel, so we don't have to do one this week. Go check out Simply Tech. That's the shout out.
Done.
Simply Tech on YouTube. It's the one with the blue logo. You'll know it's you'll recognize it. It looks just like this logo. Actually, you could just find it on. I think it's in the. It's definitely in the description. Let's put it out. It is in the description. Actually, I can actually say that now on YouTube. Yay. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, it's not in the description. You need to go to YouTube.
Apparently. Yeah.
So with that, Raj, how about we actually get out of here? Yeah.
Yep. It's time to leave. It's time for me to make me my coffee and move on with the day.
I need
That's
a tea.
what's going to happen in my book. Thanks for listening / watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And I hope to see you. Well, I can't see you, but see you back here on the channel and everything. And of course, also listen on the different platforms that we are, where to find us. There's quite a few places. Q gonna talk about that. But I just want to say, stay healthy. I talked a bit about, also now when Q is home alone, being not scared as a man, doing stuff or doing not so much stuff, just enjoying. Also, having a good time, enjoying and boosting yourself with some energy. And it depends on what you like to do. We are giving you our advices when it comes to some good gaming, some good games, of course, the good telly and movies and stuff like that. So if that's your kind of taste, then go on and check it out. With that said, take care, my friends. It's going to be not that long week. We are towards the end of the week here, so a weekend is about to come soon. With that said, muffining out.
Beautiful as always. So with that, guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life Podcast. You can find Raj at 40 Split Splash pretty much everywhere. It's actually on the screen for those of you watching on YouTube. Yay. You can actually just see the text there. So that's the number 48 SPLISH, SPLESH. You can find me. Oh, no, wait. Roger, you stream. He streams. Yes, he does do that. He streams on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Is that correct?
True. On the Twitch.
Splendid.
At least for now, yeah.
At least for now. You can find me at LP Gardens Garden.eu pretty much everywhere. You can also find me at Simply Binge on Twitch streaming. I'm supposed to stream it on Monday and a Thursday. I didn't stream Monday past because, well, I had things. I went to see Black Adam on Monday, so I didn't go. I didn't stream. Also, I'm on vacation, so I'm not expected to do stuff that I usually would. This week is my vacation week. Consider that. Yeah. If I don't do anything this week, don't hold it against me.
Man cave week.
Exactly. I have been doing some proper man spreading, but we'll get to that another time.
Good to hear that.
Proper spread.
Good,
so,
good.
With that, guys, as always, we wouldn't like you guys to miss out on any of the episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Spotify, iTunes, simplybinge.com, Google Podcasts, and elsewhere. And we're so confident you're going to like it that we're giving them for free. So as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure. And it's a wrap. And those of you on YouTube, this is a little extra bit for you. This is not going to be in the recording. A little extra for the YouTube people. Feel free to like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the podcast and the stuff that we discuss in it. And yeah.